I've waited 17 months, 25 days and 2 hours to appear in front of you in this hall as leader of our great party. At this time on a Wednesday, it's normally the Tories that are heckling me. Doesn't bother me then. Won't bother me now. Shouting slogans or changing lives conference. I'm not from a privileged background. My dad was a tool maker. Although, in a way, so was Boris Johnson's. My mum worked incredibly hard too. She was a nurse in the NHS, and a very proud nurse too. I got from my mum an ethic of service. But my mum was also, unfortunately, a long-term patient of the NHS. The NHS, that had been her livelihood, became her lifeline. Many times when Mum was so ill that she had to go into hospital. I remember going into the intensive care unit one day, as I often did. Mum's bed was a riot of tubes and temperature devices. I could sense the urgency in the conversations of the 4 nurses on my mum's bed. I knew, without being told, they were keeping her alive. They were doing their job for my mum that night, somebody else's mum the night before, somebody else's mum the night after. But that's not just a job, it's a calling. So when I think of the extraordinary dedication of doctors and nurses working to keep people alive as the COVID virus took hold, I know what that looks like. I understand what that means. But the one thing about Boris Johnson that offends everything that I stand for is his assumption that the rules don't apply to him. When Dominic Cummings took a trip to Barnard Castle to test his eyesight, Boris Johnson turned a blind eye. When Matt Hancock breached his own lockdown rules, Boris Johnson declared the matter closed. When I got pinged, I isolated. When Boris Johnson got pinged, he tried to ignore it. That's not how I do business. There are times in this Parliament when I feel like I've got my old job back. Contracts handed out to friends and donors. The former Prime Minister lobbying the Chancellor by text. Refurbishing Number 10 with a loan from an anonymous donor. On behalf of the public that cares about clearing up politics, I put this government on notice. I've spent my entire working life trying to get justice done. In 2003, when I was working with the Policing Board of Northern Ireland, when I was learning up close just how hard it is to make a split-second life and death decision in a riot situation, as I worked with the police to create a lasting institution in accordance with the Good Friday Agreement, Boris Johnson was a guest on Top Gear, where, in reference to himself, he said to Jeremy Clarkson, "You can't rule out the possibility that beneath the elaborately constructed veneer of a blithering idiot lurks a blithering idiot." One of the urgent needs of our time is mental health. Labour will guarantee that support will be available in less than a month. We will recruit the mental health staff that we need. Over 8,500 more mental health professionals supporting 1 million more people every year. Under Labour, spending on mental health will never be allowed to fall. And we'll make sure that children and young people get help early by ensuring that every school has specialist support and every community has an open access mental health hub. And even before the pandemic, 200,000 children grew up in areas with not a single primary school rated as good or outstanding. Just think about that. Not a single primary school rated as good or outstanding. I want every parent in the country to be able to send their child to a great state school. That is why Labour will launch the most ambitious school improvement plan in a generation, not walking around the problem, but fixing it. Under Labour, education will recover. But education needs to do more than just recover. It needs to be pointed in the direction I took from my dad, towards skill, towards work. Employers in all sectors tell me that they need well-rounded young people skilled in life, ready for work, young people who can communicate and work in a team. That's why it's stupid to allow theatre, drama and music to collapse in state schools. We want every child to get the chance to play competitive sport and play an instrument. And Conference, what is the small Tory idea to respond to this change? They want to reintroduce Latin in state schools. So let me put this crisis in the only language that Boris Johnson will understand. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Under the Tories, wages have fallen in every English region. Local government has been cut to the bone. More than 500,000 more children live in poverty, and so do 500,000 more pensioners. For the first time in decades, life expectancy has stalled. And after all that, the Tories expect us to believe that levelling up is more than a slogan. Well, let me offer the Conservative Party a lesson in levelling up. If they want to know how to do it, I suggest they take a look at our record the last time we were in government. Hospital waits down, GCSO results up, 44,000 more doctors, 89,000 new nurses. Child poverty down 1 million, pensioner poverty down 1 million, rough sleepers down 75%, a national minimum wage. Too often in the history of this party, our dream of the good society falls foul of the belief that we will not run a strong economy. But you don't get one without the other. And under my leadership, we are committed to both. In a few short years from now, I want to be here with you talking about the difference we're making, the problems we're fixing as a Labour government. This is a big moment, a time of rapid change. The first pandemic in a century, the aftermath of Brexit to sort out, the urgent claim of the climate, then our own domestic questions, providing a secure job that pays a decent wage, a good school nearby, health and social care that you can rely on, a home you can afford. This is a big moment that demands leadership. Leadership founded on the principles that have informed my life and with which I honour where I have come from. Work, care, equality, security. These are the tools of my trade, and with them, I will go to work. Thank you, Conference.